Next photo, the Tomb Kings, rather than charge the eagle, because what they would have done is if they charged the eagle might have fled or at least held the charge, and the chariots would be facing the wrong way. And the Dragon Princes potentially would have charged them had they not overrun off the table. The Tomb King's chariots just used their fast cavalry move to move around the eagle, getting into a position where the Dragon Princes really have no choice but to charge the chariots. And if they do, they probably won't win that combat. And if they stay there, if the combat is tied, the Scorpion will charge them in the flank. So this is the way that the Tomb Kings are dealing with this particular flank. Next photo. You can see that chariot in the background being swamped, but the Tomb Guard in the meantime are moving forward just to try and get stuck in and defend that area, that flank, against the other things homing in on the center. Really, the High Elves are really staking everything on taking out this flank, or at least the center, to try and win the game. You can see both mage units in that white line unit, but nothing too much is happening here. So we're going to go to the next photo where the Tomb King, it's Tomb King's turn 2, I believe, or at least 3, and the Tomb King flying over to this Tomb Guard just to get into position to attack, potentially, and get rid of any chariots that need to be destroyed. But this particular flank needed a little bit more oomph, so the Tomb King is flown over here to assist. Next photo, this second chariot is charged into the flank of these archers here, and the Eagles charged the remaining catapult crew, so really desperate to try and take up the center and get some moves in on the casket before it does any damage. But it's going to be a tough ride. That chariot's really going to have to wipe out these archers. It's probably not going to be able to work that way. And unfortunately, because the Tomb Kings have brought the king in there, the king's going to be able to swipe the chariot with one hit. No worries. Next photo, on the flank, the Dragon Princes charge headlong to the Princess unit and just do absolutely awfully in close combat, missing many of their attacks. They did wipe out one chariot, but they failed armor tests and just absolutely got slaughtered. So in the meantime, in the middle of the battlefield, the dragon horn has been blown just to make absolutely sure that nobody failed their fear checks this turn, and that allowed the Dragon Princes to charge in the flank against the Prince unit, but also in the center for my main hammer unit here from the High Elves to charge the carrion. This is quite a nice looking photo because I've done a little bit more painting work on the noble in the middle with the sun shield type thing, and predictably wiping out the carrion and overrunning past them. Next photo, the eagle flying around the side, just getting ready to charge that casket, hopefully not failing its terror check, but really need an opportunity to take out the casket at the moment, because with -1 to my spells and obviously the threat of the casket of souls going off every turn, things get a bit difficult. Next photo, the chariot has not wiped out the archers there. The chariot's killed about half of the archers, whereas the eagle is still locked in combat with the catapult crew. Nothing really has happened as far as that's concerned, and we've got the Dragon Princes out in the midfield, just really lighting themselves up to charge through there and do some damage. We'll see how that goes. The mages, the High Elf mages, have been casting the Beast Cowers on the other chariot unit of 3 chariots in the middle. That's why they haven't been moving out to attack. So that at least has been successful so far. Next photo, the Prince's unit, although slightly depleted, has blistered their way around the flank, wiping out the Dragon Princes and really homing in on everything else. All the archers and stuff are in danger now, and the Scorpion, of course, nearby is going to be causing some trouble as well. Next photo, the king in the magic phase moves out of the Tomb Guard and actually destroys that chariot there, and the Tomb Guard themselves have moved around looking for a magic move to come in behind the eagle and get rid of that one. And we'll see how that goes down shortly. In the next photo, the archers and the skeletons here are just getting positioned to hold off these Dragon Princes for as long as possible. But of course, that spell, the Beast Cowers, being laid down next to the chariots, just showing you that they still can't attack. And things going not too badly for the High Elves in the center, but elsewhere in the field, it's trouble. Next photo, the archers sort of out of the way here. The prince moves around behind, but the Scorpion charges into the archers, kills a couple of them, but of course with Hill and outnumber, the archers aren't suffering too badly from this and will be able to hold off the Scorpion for at least a little bit longer. Next photo, what happens here is the king flies over behind the skeletons because he's no longer needed on the flank there. And this is really to get in position to attack the Dragon Princes, and with that Destroyer of Eternities, he should be able to do a lot of damage to the Dragon Princes should they come charging to the flank and overrun into that unit of skeletons there. Next photo, the Tomb Guard predictably have come in behind the eagle, and the eagle, really, if not killed by this, will have to flee away over top of the catapult crew using a flight move. I'm pretty sure that's legal, but we'll see what happens. Pretty good photo of this. I miss my old Tomb Guard. Haven't been playing any Tomb Kings lately. A good friend of mine's been playing Tomb Kings on my behalf just to make sure that the army gets some mileage, because I've spent a lot of time assembling it and playing with it, and painting it, so not really ready to sell it at this stage. Really want to get as many games out of it as possible. Next photo, the casket of souls has gone off without too much effect. Unfortunately, the High Elves out of a scroll at this point, and really doing their best to dispel it every time, but this time it didn't work, and I lost a single Dragon Prince. Interestingly enough, I mean, usually in these sorts of situations against these sorts of players, the Tomb Kings tend to roll a double 6 when rolling for that precious cavalry unit, but it was only an 8 on the Dragon Princes, taking it up to a total of 10 minus leadership of 9, kills 1 Dragon Prince, and everybody else pretty much was fine, losing 1 unit here and there, using 1 model here and there. But in the meantime, if you look at the forest in the background, one of the mages has moved back into the forest because she's got the wolf hunts and a wolf hunts, might have been crow's feast, as well as beast cowers, and the archmage in the white lines has got the lure of shadows, so that's why she is staying forward to use the unseen lurker. The eagle predictably has fled away from the catapult crew. Not sure what's become of that, but in the meantime, we've got the Dragon Princes in the center of the field, getting ready to do stuff. And what happens here? I've actually there's a very important photo which is coming up, but unfortunately the camera kind of screwed up, the disc screwed up, and I couldn't actually take that photo. What you're meant to be able to see is is a certain combat, but what happened here is that I cast Unseen Lurker on the Dragon Princes to charge through to the archers and wipe everybody out, but they failed their fear check again on leadership 9. Unbelievable stuff. And in the magic phase, I was absolutely desperate. Cast Unseen Lurker on the BSB by himself. The BSB charges out of the unit, charges between that gap of the 2 arch units on the hill there, and charges directly onto the catapult, the casket of souls itself, and challenges. It's accepted by the Lich with the Collar of Shapesh, and the BSB wipes out the Lich, rolls like a 6 for combat res for the Battle Banner, and just absolutely annihilates the Casket of Souls and the Hierophant, who unfortunately had joined the Casket of Souls crew. Had I played the Tomb King's side a little bit better, I probably should have put the Hierophant somewhere else, though bear in mind there were a whole lot of other places I could have put the Hierophant that would have been equally as dangerous, just given the High Elf threats closing in at this point, and magic spells potentially being used to magic units into them. But what happened here is that the BSB wipes everything out. And if we go to the next photo, you can see the victorious BSB overrunning off the table edge. And at the end of the combat phase, the Tomb Kings having to roll for crumbling checks, obviously destroying the unit of archers on the hill as well as the Skelepult, and really just turning the game in favour of the High Elves. I had to say that after I failed that fear check for the High Elves, it was looking extremely grim for the High Elves, but they've come back into it thanks to this heroic BSB. Next photo, the Tomb King has moved to the arch unit, which is reformed, just really beckoning to the Dragon Princes to charge, and in the meantime being shot at. Dragon Princes being shot at with a number of bow shots from the chariots and the arch units, and failing armor checks left and right. Wow, insane stuff. The Tomb King charging, I think, the bolt throw on the background, which fled off the table. So the Tomb Prince, is still just wreaking havoc in the back lines. And Beast Cowers yet again going off on the chariots in the foreground. Next photo, the desperate group of High Elf archers here just whacking and slashing against the Scorpion. I think one round he totally fluffed his attacks, and the High Elves managed to get a single point of combat res to do a wound on him. But of course the Tomb Kings are now checking for crumbling tests due to the destroyed Hierophant, and the bolt thrower is shooting away at the chariots in the background. So the Tomb Kings are not winning the war of attrition as they usually would, because there are no liches anymore, and that is dangerous. So with the next photo, the High Elves in the back line here turning around, and the bolt thrower shooting away at the Prince here. The Prince's chariot's taken a wound, the other chariot's taken 2 wounds, so that whole chariot is nearly wiped out, and really the High Elves are starting to turn the tide here. In the next photo, the the White Lions charging straight into the Tomb Guard with the BSB behind them. Now, in the magic phase,